I'm Lydia. I'm back in the kitchen today, and today I'm doing a little bit of canning. So one of the easiest things to can is jam or jelly. Super easy. So if you're getting into canning and you don't really know much about it, then that's something that pretty much anybody can do. And you're gonna hear kids because that's normal. In all of my videos, I have kids with me, whether they be my kids or grandkids, and that is totally okay because that's real life. Nobody gets uninterrupted time. So this is just gonna be a real life video in my kitchen. We're talking about cranberries. So I love, 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 love cranberries. And you can only get them around this time of year. So when I see them, I stock up on cranberries. And so you can buy them in pouches like this, okay? So I get them and I freeze them, and they freeze so beautifully. You can use them not just in your jams and jellies and then Christmas desserts, bless you, but you can also use them in smoothies. They're so good in smoothies. So cranberries are just super full of antioxidants and nutrient rich. They're considered a superfood for many reasons. And they are a little bit tart, but mixed into a smoothie or in a jam, it's just perfect. And so it kind of offsets those other sweeter fruits, will offset that. So we're gonna use it in our jam today, and I'm making cranberry apple jam. It's so, so good, delicious. So cranberries are known to lower your blood pressure. They're known to help prevent UTIs, so urinary tract just keeps your urinary systems healthy, as well as improving your immune system because of their high content of antioxidants. So they're just really fantastic. Plus there's been so many reports about how well they do in preventing cancer. So there's lots and lots of info out there. There's lots of studies done, so definitely check that out. They're just super healthy, but you can only get them at certain times of year. So that's why whenever I see them in the store, I stock up and freeze them. So if you see me stockpiling cranberries at the store, just move on, okay? But the first thing I do whenever I get my cranberries is, and I'm gonna use 2 bags for this recipe, but the first thing I do is I always clean them. So I use my Thieves fruit and veggie wash, and I go ahead and put them in a bowl and I soak them. So my cranberries are gonna soak for about 20 minutes before I rinse them and then use them. And then plus I have my apple peelers, so that'll make the cutting of the apples super easy. So I've got a few little tricks and tools that's gonna help it, but definitely wash your cranberries. I wash all my fruit. Don't trust anything in the store, get it all off. And the Thieves fruit and veggie wash is awesome because you will not believe what comes off your vegetables when you use it. So I'm gonna let that soak for 20 minutes. And then I'm gonna work on my apples, and then I've got my big canning pot coming to a rolling boil, and then I'll show you what to do. I have added my 1 cup of water, and I have added 5 cups of sugar, as well as the juice from 2 lemons. And I'm just stirring it up. I can hear my cranberries popping. While this is stirring, I've got my big pot coming to a rolling boil so that I can can my jars. My jars have been cleaned and sanitized. I like to run them through the dishwasher and just keep them warm that way. I will fill my warm jars. The lids have been washed and are ready to go. So I'm just gonna give this about 20 minutes or until it really softens down and all of my cranberries have popped, and then it'll be ready to fill jars. While my cranberries are cooking down with my apples, I was just gonna go over a few common tools. So you don't have to have everything here, and you can make do with a lot, but it certainly makes it a lot handier. So over here I've washed my lids and they are laying face down. This handy little magnetic will pick my lids up and keep me from being able to touch it, so that way it doesn't get contaminated. So once they're washed, it's really easy to handle them that way. That's just a handy tool. I also like to use this, that way it makes filling jars faster, easier. There's less slop involved because I'm kind of messy and it's hot and you're trying to move quickly. These are just really fantastic little grabbers that'll help you get your jars out of your hot rolling water, and that way you're not burning yourself or dropping them by accident. So it has this nice rubber handles. You're just gonna lift and pull out. And then of course, something to scoop it out and pour it in. So you do not have to have all of these things, but it certainly is handier, and these are just really common, simple tools. And if you look on Amazon, there's all sorts of tips and like whole kits that come together that will include some of these things. All right, it's been about 20-25 minutes. You will start to see that it thickens up on its own. Cranberries and apples have natural pectin in them, so you don't need to add pectin to this. It'll thicken up even as it cools as well, but it is really quite pretty. So, we're going to grab our little tongs, and I've got a jar in here waiting. You do not need to dry it or do anything. I'm going to set my hot jar there. I will scoop out some of my jam. Fill my jar. You're going to want to leave about a ½ inch of headspace, meaning don't fill it all the way. Add your lid. Screw this on. Not too tight, but tight enough. And repeat with the rest of your jars. I'll put them all in the same time, that way they process the same, and we're going to process them for 10 minutes in a rolling boil. All right, so my jam is done and processed. It has came to a rolling boil, and it has done that for 10 minutes, and then I like to let it sit in the pan of hot water with the heat turned off for another 5 minutes just to cool slowly. I put it on a towel. I will leave it here for 24 hours just to let it slowly cool down. It will thicken and it will also seal. So what you're looking for after 24 hours, you're going to come back and you're going to press the top. And you don't want to hear any clicking or popping. That means you don't have a good seal and you need to start over. But that rarely happens if you've done all the steps like I just told you. Everything's sealed up and perfect. We're just going to let it cool. This particular recipe makes 12 half pints. So that way you kind of know how many jars to have ready or how many to buy if you're needing to buy and you don't have some from the year before. These are going to make fantastic Christmas presents. I think there's just something really special about a homemade gift, especially one like this. So cranberries good all year long in your smoothies and just in salads. So freeze them, and then what you want to use right away, go ahead and make some jam with it and try the apple cranberry. It takes some of the tartness off. It's really, really sweet and has a good flavor. Plus it's just beautiful. So I hope this made it easy. I hope this made it something that you're like, okay, you know what, I've been thinking about getting into canning and I think I can do that. And yes, you can. If I can do it, you can do it.